Dear students, today I am going to teach English literature for class 5th. The first poem is Daffodils, written by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth, the pioneer of the English Romantic movement, was born on 7th April 1770. Most of his poems showed his affinity for nature. So, he is known as poet of the nature. Once he said, nature is God and God is nature. Because of his love for it, most of the poems describes on nature and its beauty. In this poem, he describes an experience of enjoyment of the sight of daffodils. On 15th April 1802, William Wordsworth was passing through the lake. Along with his sister, he saw the beautiful flowers of daffodils. It was this visit that gave Wordsworth an inspiration to write his most famous poem, Daffodils. Dear students, I have divided this poem into 4 stanzas. So let's read the first stanza. I wander, lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The first stanza tells that once the poet was wandering pointlessly beside the lake, so he compares himself as the clouds are wandering aimlessly in the valleys and hills. So he compares himself aimlessly and wandering the valleys and the hills. Suddenly he could view the large number of daffodils gathered by the side of the lake. He could view the large number of daffodils gathered by the side of the lake. They were sheltered under a growing tree. They were sheltered under a growing tree. The daffodils resembles the color of gold. The daffodils resembles the color of gold, and cool breeze made them to wave and dance, rejoice and play. The cool breeze made them to dance and wave, rejoice and play. This is what poet expresses his feelings. Let's read now second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. In the second stanza, the poet expresses that these daffodils resembles similarly innumerable shining stars that one could see in the night in the forms of Milky Way. As the poet made a glance, he could see the daffodils were waving their heads as if they were rejoicing and dancing. Yes, he could see the daffodils were waving their heads as if they were rejoicing and dancing. Now let's read the third stanza. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay. In such a jocund company, I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the shore to me had brought. In the third stanza, according to the poet, the waves of lakes are dancing and daffodils also. He compares that who performs better, the waves or the daffodils. Of course, it is always the daffodils. Again, he compares the sparkling waves because of the rays of the sun falls on the waves and it shines and it looks like waves dancing happily, but the daffodils are dancing happily. When he watches the waves and daffodils dancing, he himself feels happy. But he compares that always daffodils surpass waves. So, when the poet sees this, how he could remain quiet, but he too feels happy. And he says, I gazed and gazed the beautiful scene of daffodils and waves. Let us read the fourth stanza. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, the flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. In the fourth stanza, he expresses that this beautiful experience was soaked in his mind forever. In solitude, when poet's mind was unrestrained by disturbing elements of the real world, he revives the memories of the daffodils. When the memory of that sight came into view of the poet, he was able to derive happiness and pleasure, which he had enjoyed actually. So, when we are in solitude and silence, we experience inner happiness. So, dear students, you might have understood this beautiful poem, Daffodils. Thank you.